Marcos administration's efforts to attract investors are in full swing, with several trips overseas to bring in fresh capital and even the ratification of the world's largest free trade agreement. How are foreign businessmen weighing in? Let's get the thought now of Lundgreen's Capital CEO, Peter Lundgreen, joining us now from Copenhagen in Denmark. Peter, thank you so much for joining us. You were recently in the Philippines. From what you saw, especially the developments that have been taking place over the past 8 months of the Marcos presidency, how are foreign investors viewing this Marcos presidency so far?
Yes, hello. I think it's the Philippine economy as such is moving forward. That's of course is an effect of the COVID-19 crisis as has sort of ended, and we see a forward moving economy across the world. The Philippine economy is moving faster than most economies in the world, and I of course appreciate very much that the Philippines has now ratified the free zone trade agreement. I see it as a very positive step, and it would be good for the Philippine economy in the long run. So at least that is one very good step, yes.
But are you concerned about the high inflation, the high interest rate environment, and the budget deficit, the trade deficit? We are a deficit economy. Doesn't this turn off foreign investors?
Certainly important. The most important is to get inflation under control. Many Asian countries actually have sort of the inflation fairly much under control. The Philippines has acted now. The Philippine Central Bank had acted very wisely last week by increasing again. But we need to remember why inflation is a tad higher in the Philippines. That was partly because there was handed out money during the COVID-19 crisis. And of course, people literally didn't have anything to live for or money to live off. But that now, like in Western countries, is a part of the story behind the too high inflation. And
what about the current issues, Peter?
Should
Peter?
Not get out of control.
Yeah, Peter, what about the recent issues of smuggling, hoarding of agricultural products, graft and corruption? Are these developments that foreign investors can work with and when making their investments in the Philippines?
I would say foreign investors would not sort of judge the smuggling of agricultural products as a deal breaker, so to say. Of course, it's not healthy that there's sort of smuggling going on of whatever. That's not the key. It would be more concern if there's handed more money out to compensate for higher food prices. If that happened, the government needs to scale down on other areas where they sort of have investments. So it's a balanced zero game sum, so to say.
So you manage hundreds of millions of dollars for clients worldwide through your capital fund. Will you advise your clients to consider an investment in the Philippines now, or will you tell them to stay on the sidelines and wait it out?
We have since end of October last year advised investors to increase their investments and increase the risk in the investment portfolios. This is included also to increase the investment towards emerging markets. And among the emerging market countries, we prefer Southeast Asia and therefore also the Philippines. So we actually still encourage people to have an overweight of also basically investments into the Philippines, yes.
All right, you visit the Philippines at least 3 times a year, and you were just here recently. After 8 months in office, how would you rate on a scale of 1 to 10 the Marcos administration's policies and reforms? 1 fail, 5 passing, 10 excellent.
Yeah, it's certainly above average, and also maybe a bit above expectations, because that is what it's all about. What did we expect? I think it's sort of somewhere probably 7.5.
Mm-hmm. All right. that's a good mark for the Marcos administration over the past 8 months. Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. Lundgreen's Capital CEO Peter Lundgreen joining us from Copenhagen, Denmark.